Hi, this is Todd with Cemetery Walks. As you can see, I'm here today at Resaca Confederate Cemetery. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to walk in the cemetery, but the thing on a lot of people's minds when they visit cemeteries, especially historical cemeteries like the one behind me, is how should I act? What is the etiquette? And how do I not become one of those people? Well, just sit back, and I'll go over a few things that you need to know. That's good etiquette, whether you're visiting somewhere out of the way, a family cemetery, a public cemetery, or a national historic cemetery. We'll get started.
Cemetery walks. Come on a journey through the veil of time, where the voices of the lost in the silence chime. With every step, their stories rise through the mist where history lies. Cemetery walks will find their trace, unravel the lifetime can't erase. Cemetery walks, the past comes alive when history talks. Cemetery walks, the past comes alive when history talks.
Whether you're visiting for personal reasons or just volunteering, or simply just exploring history like I do, it is important to ensure that you approach these spaces with respect, thoughtfulness, and care, because these are family members, these are friends, these are comrades in arms, and we want to respect their space as much as possible. So cemeteries are not only memorials and headstones, like I said before, they serve as places of remembrance for families, friends. So we want to ensure that we don't encroach on those individuals if they happen to be here paying their respects, or there's a funeral going on. Make sure that you give them their space and be quiet and thoughtful if you have to speak. Don't be yelling, running around the cemetery. Keep small children with you. Definitely, I have a thing about bringing pets to cemeteries. I know a lot of folks like in some of the larger cemeteries. I know the one in Dalton is that way. They like to walk through the cemetery because it's quiet. There's not a lot of car traffic. I just personally don't like bringing dogs into a cemetery because I've seen the worst side of that, if you can imagine. So it's really not my cup of tea. So I wouldn't do it. I would advise you, if you're going to visit, you're going to visit a place like a cemetery, just leave your pets at home. Okay, guys, just a quick little thing here. Right behind me in this tree over here, I just started walking, and this hawk flew up and rested on this tree. Most of you, some of you will know the significance of that. Usually it's spirits. The spirits are guardians of spirits, especially in Native American terms. But I think it's kind of cool that one decided to come up and light on a limb right as I was getting into the heart of the cemetery here. So there he is, right there. He's beautiful, or she is. I don't know which it is. Like I said, walking through a cemetery, we would definitely want to be respectful. Now, as you can see, all of these memorials, these headstones are in a row. There is plenty of space in between them. But you're going to find where there are cemeteries where they're clumped together, there are plots that are marked off, either with stone squares or fences, and it's very hard to navigate in those areas. Just be mindful that there are graves there, so if we can get away with not stepping directly on a grave, we want to do that. Sometimes you can't help it. You get into places like Marietta National Cemetery, or any national cemetery for that matter, where everything's so close together that it's kind of hard not to walk in between, knowing that you're going to be stepping on a grave. But in those instances, it can't be helped. Just again, be as respectful as possible. When you visit a cemetery, especially if it's a large, well-known cemetery, there are a lot of resources, so you don't wander aimlessly trying to find your loved one, friend, or whomever you're there to see. A lot of them have websites that actually have maps that show you, okay, this sector, whatever, this person's in sector A, plot 32. So you go to sector A, and for the most part, you can probably find it. If you're dealing with a very large cemetery, sector A might be as big as this cemetery that I'm at. But in most cases, it'll narrow your search down so you can almost go right to where you want to go. Others, if you use websites like Find a Grave, there are a lot of individuals like myself that volunteer. When we come out, we take photos of headstones, and when we do so, a lot of times we will capture the GPS coordinates of that so you can go right to the headstone, especially, like I said, in very large cemeteries. Now, you might ask, is it okay if I leave flowers or some sort of token in remembrance or respect or for someone that you're there visiting, or even a random headstone? Yes, that's fine. Most cemeteries would prefer you use degradable flowers, not silk flowers. Anybody that's been near a large cemetery that allows silk flowers, always seen that they're wind blown all over the place. I wouldn't like to leave stuff for my loved one and find out, just as soon as I turn around and left, the wind has blown it across the way. And they're not biodegradable. They are bad for the environment if that's a chief concern of yours. So that's another benefit of not using them and using biodegradable natural flowers. What about I see coins on headstones. Those have specific meaning. If you see a penny, that's someone just showing respect for that person, especially military, on the military side. There are various definitions. I'll put them up on the screen. Please do not remove the money off the headstones. The cemeteries usually do that, especially in national cemeteries. That goes into a fund to assist with upkeep and things of that nature. And so I usually carry a handful of pennies and place them on headstones, especially if I'm in a military cemetery. Another quick reminder is, if there is a funeral there, be very mindful of that and try to refrain from photography, video, or pictures of those individuals. Sometimes it's inadvertent. You can't help it, especially if you're taking panning shots. But try to avoid that if you can. Give them their peace and their ability to mourn and grieve without having us going in and invading their privacy. Be aware of that as well. So a meaningful cemetery visit, it really isn't about what you do there, it's what you leave behind. Some of the things should go unsaid, but you still have to remind folks, if you drop anything, pick it up. If you see something there that you didn't drop, pick it up, dispose of it properly. Make sure that it's a meaningful visit for you as well. You don't have to be completely silent. Share memories to yourself. You can speak to your loved ones there if you choose to do so. But anything that you do, regardless, make sure it's respectful. Another thing is upkeep of cemeteries. Whose responsibility is it? Generally speaking, if it's a public cemetery run by a local government, or if it's a historic cemetery like this one is, these are generally upkept by the organization that runs it. It's usually contracted out for upkeep. As you can see This is fairly well kept, considering it is a Confederate cemetery. This one here is a lot better off than the one in Marietta, I'll tell you. So it's good to make sure that cemeteries are upkept. If I see a headstone that's fallen over and I can correct it, I'll do so. I have on a particular video you've seen me. There was a headstone that was that fell over, was almost buried in grass because it had been laying there for so long. I picked it up, dusted it off, laid it up against a brick wall that was right behind where it was laying. So that way it is there for future folks to understand who is buried there. And if there are any family members, they won't have such a hard time finding out where their loved one is. So as you leave the cemetery, make sure that you carry with you not only the silent respect that you had during your visit, but also a deeper appreciation for the stories that are resting there. Every single person here that's buried here had a life, had a family, has a story. In some instances, we'll never know what that is because they're unnamed, unknown. Even then, they still have a story, whether we'll know it or not. So be respectful and have an appreciation for that, because these are powerful places. Every time I go to a cemetery, I feel a certain way. And coming to places like this where the individuals, they passed in the most tragic fashion imaginable, they are reminders that, life is ongoing and we must be present in it. So hopefully you enjoyed this little tutorial about etiquette in a cemetery. There are probably 100 different ways you can say the same thing that I did. This is just my take on it, but hopefully I provided a little more information to make you feel comfortable when visiting these places. It's not a place to fear. It's not a place that's always doom and gloom. There are plenty of happy memories that you can have when you go visit these places, visit loved ones, visit ancestors. But also you can do that with a grain of respect and dignity, and be very, very responsible for your own actions and those who are with you. You all have a blessed day. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Stay tuned for my next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share those videos. We're still growing the channel, and you have a blessed one. We'll see you on our next walk.
Thank you for watching Cemetery Walks. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click those share, like, and notification buttons to stay up to date with my latest videos and posts.